Hello, my friends. Ivan Oberon here, and I wanted to come to you live this Saturday evening because I've been on Zoom meetings since 9 a.m. today, talking about investing, talking about how money grows, talking about how to save taxes, and then just connecting with people. Some of the few things that get me fired up about business and about life that are outside, of course, the most important things, right? Our love and our relationships, but I've been doing this most of the day, and it got me to thinking because sometimes it makes me think back to different things. And most successful people spend most of their time thinking and talking about the present and about the future. But every once in a while, we can reference the past for some cool things. And it made me think about today that I did this one webinar once about everybody's a salesperson. And I wanted to talk a little bit about that because salespeople have gotten kind of like a really bad rap in the industry overall, or just in society overall. But what people don't realize that everybody's selling something, right? Everybody's a salesperson, and it got me to thinking about that. All today got me thinking about that last webinar that I did years ago, and I want to share some tips and some insights with you about just selling, about influence, because that's all it is, right? Selling is just a transfer of enthusiasm. And they say that the most confident person usually wins, and the one with the most conviction usually wins. And it doesn't matter what it is, right? It's, you want to have shrimp tonight, I want to have steak. And somewhere at the end of that, whichever conviction about the shrimp or the steak wins. And maybe we sell in the middle, right? A little surf and turf. But that's the basic concept behind it. And for those of you who understand that sales is nothing but influence, and influence is what gets you what you want out of life, let me share with you some tips that I've put together that are nothing more than that. Whether you're in sales as a profession or not, I think this will help you. And I'm going to share 10 things with you, 10 little concepts, 10 little blurbs, 10 little ideas that you can take for them for what they are and apply them into your own life. And the first one is to set your own targets, right? Many of us in our work environment and the influence that we have with people, we get input and we get ideas and we get certain things by other people that say, hey, you have to hit this or you want to accomplish that. That's fine as a kind of a driving force, but set your own targets. What are your own goals? What are your own things? And one of the things that I put, so I have index cards and I have different things. So as far as setting my own things, like what do I want to accomplish in my different businesses? And I set that as an index card, and I put that in front. Like when I joined this sales force for Civic, because many of you or most of you know that I've been an investor for a long time. I'm a private lender. I do mortgages, and I do that sort of thing. And one of the things that I put on there is that I am the top producer for my company, and I perform a certain amount of sales, right, in volume. And I'm leaving that out specifically because a lot of you aren't in sales, so I don't want to give these numbers that don't mean anything to you. But that was my own target. Now my quote unquote other people are telling me that I need to hit a certain amount of numbers. Well, my numbers are a lot bigger than the ones that tell me I need to hit, because I have goals and I have dreams and I have aspirations that are much larger than that. Second tip that I'll give you is start earlier and stay later. And so I start my day earlier than most people. And when I was going into the office pre-COVID, I was usually the last one to leave. And that has nothing to do with anything other than I have goals and dreams and aspirations bigger than what the status quo is. And I'm willing to sacrifice the lesser thing now for the greater thing later. And part of that is I'm sacrificing my time, I'm sacrificing my commitment. I don't punch in and punch out. That's the benefit of being entrepreneurial and minded, is I don't have a punch clock. It's my motivation and what I want for my family and for my dreams and the contribution that I want to make in the world, get me out of bed and keep me going much later. And a little caveat to that is you got to enroll your family and those who love you in those things so that they know that those sacrifices that you're making, they're making them alongside with you and they're willing to support you. 3 is you want to personalize things in your sales. If you're selling anything, and what I mean by that is don't sell anything, right? I don't feel like I sell anything. I have a conversation with people that is a personal conversation. We engage, we create a relationship. I find out what those needs are, and we go around turning lights on in people's lives. right? And those lights are the solutions to what it is that they're coming to me for. And the reason they're coming to me for those solutions is because I'm creating a relationship and I just so happens to have access and be the conduit to certain solutions. So first, always seek to create a relationship. Don't be the guy. And honestly, I don't take on clients or investors or prospects or people that all they want is some ABC solution. All they want is like, hey, here, give me this price and what is this? I usually don't connect with those people very well because I have no opportunity to create a relationship with them. And that's what I'm after ultimately. So that's what I mean by personalize your sales and personalize your interactions. The next thing, number 4, if you're counting, is to avoid distractions. Wherever you are, whether you're working from your home office or some people are actually are already going back to some of those offices, is avoid distractions, right? And when you are working from home or remotely, there are a lot of distractions, and they can be just banter, or it could be social. It could be somebody walking in and talking about other stuff. But if you want to be a rock star in what it is that you're doing, you got to avoid those distractions and not engage in that stuff. We have team calls every day. We have all these different things that happen via Teams and Zoom and all this kind of stuff. And so many times the conversations just get sidelined. And I'm just kind of like, I need to get back to what I'm focused on, because I didn't come here for these sideline discussions. I came here to win. I came here to provide for my family, and I came here for a result. And so as soon as I can jump off of those things, I do it, unless there's a way to add value and create a relationship. Number 5 is to qualify the people that you're talking to. Qualify your prospects. If we want to just really dumb it down to actual sales, okay, there's prospects. Everything that we do is, there's nothing wrong with networking and marketing and prospecting and all that sort of thing. But you got to qualify your prospects, and that takes courage. And let me tell you why that takes courage. It's because you have to be the solution and create that scarcity for those people. Say, you know what, I don't have to work with you. I'm not desperate for you. I know what I bring to the table is quality. I know that my solutions are there and they're real. So I'm not desperate to work with you. So if you qualify the prospect, that means you're going to turn certain people away. You're going to take that away from people because you're valuable and you want to value your time. You want other people to value your time as well. So qualify your prospects. Don't waste time with people that you know aren't going to be part of creating a solution with you. Number 6 is love objections. Learn to love those objections. And here's why. Okay, if somebody's not responding back or pushing back or giving you an objection, that means they're not really all that interested, honestly. They're really not. You didn't present things in such a way that sparked an interest to create questions. And that's all typically all objections are just questions. They're not hard no's. They're just, I want to know more information. So they're giving you these things to see how you respond to those things. So learn to love those objections. Next thing is to make sure that you're using all the tools available to you. That's number 7. If you're going to be a rock star in sales, it means understanding what tools you have, like actually answering the phone, leveraging voicemail, sending emails. So many people just make a phone call or send an email and that's it. You have so many things available at your disposal now. Send a message via email, leave a voicemail, send a text message. One little thing that I do that I don't think anybody does is there's a little thing called Loom. You can create a video. So I'll also create a video and follow up with that video that's totally tailored and custom to them. And Loom lets you send it in different ways. I can embed my video in an email. I can send that video in a text message. There's also a cool little feature that I didn't know about until recently that you can send a voice memo via phone. I know it's maybe it's just an iPhone thing, but use all the tools available to you as a follow-up, right? Because that's what they always say, the fortune's in the follow-up. And I literally have gotten sales and clients and investors and different things after following up for over 2 years. You know, the weird thing is that you never know where people are in their life and their timing. I have literally had people tell me years in, all of a sudden they get this message that hits them right. And I say, you know what? I've been following your content. I've been following everything that you do for the last 2 years. And they admit to me that they're just a silent stalker, right? Because they never comment, they never like, they never do anything. Then all of a sudden something hits it them that day, and they respond like, man, you have no idea what impact you've made in my life. And it's like, really? Well, you've never told me that before. So I guess that's kind of cool. So really what that leads into is of course, one of the tools you have available to you that nobody can take away is consistency. That's one very underused tool. Number 8 is solve, don't sell. Always look to create solutions. The people that are the most successful are the ones who can solve the largest amount of problems or the biggest problems most effectively. So always lead with that. And one of the things that we're passionate about is leading with education. And of course, that education solves problems. But you're not selling anything because you're providing solutions. So don't ever feel like you have to push. I don't feel like I sell anything, ever. I just provide solutions for people. Number 9 leads into what I just said in consistency, and it's simply this: just don't give up. You have to be so passionate about helping people and what it is that you're doing in your particular field and the particular solutions that you are providing, that passion makes you willing to work harder and be more consistent and show up in a bigger level than anybody else out there that's doing the same thing. Right? Don't give up at the hurdles. Don't give up in the failures that you have. Don't take rejections personally. Like, actually use them as a stepping stone. So that's number 9. Don't give up. And number 10 is kind of an ambiguous one, but it's just learn to use emotional intelligence properly and learn what the heck it is in the first place, right? People that excel in this particular field, and if we're talking about sales in general and influence, and that they have a high emotional intelligence, or what we call a high EQ, and are able to connect with their people on an emotional level and understand where to add content and where to not add content as far as that leading that conversation. They know that people buy from people that they know, like, and trust them. So this goes back to some of the earlier points and building that relationship and that connection with people, not being a salesperson, not being somebody who's just out there to present some kind of product or service, but rather actually get to know their people well and connect that with that emotional, create that emotional connection. And I was able to do that earlier today just because I'm not interested in making a sale. I'm interested in making a connection with a person. And once I have that and I understand what it is that they're looking for, I'll know whether or not I can provide that solution for them or not, and then feel good about it. So that's those are the 10 things and 10 little tips that I wanted to leave with you tonight. That just came as a result of me showing up and having conversations with people all throughout the day. And those are little skills that you learn along the way. So hopefully this was valuable to you. If it was, leave me a comment or send me a text message or a thumbs up or something. And if you ever want to talk about anything in terms of how to improve your emotional intelligence or sales skills or anything like that, just hit me up. I have nothing to gain from it other than I want to make a true connection with you. And hope you're doing well throughout these times. And God bless you. Talk to you soon. Until next time.